The assembly will now come to order. The chief clerk will call the roll.
Assembly members Anderson, Backus, Brown May, Carter, Cole, Considine, Dahlia, DeLong, Dickman, De Silva, Edgeworth, Flanagan, Gallant, Gonzalez, Goulding, Gray, Gurr, Hafen, Hanson, Hardy, Hibbets, Hunt, Jackson, Howdigi, Karras, Kasama, Koenig, LaRue Hatch, Marzola, Miller, Monroe Moreno, Moore, Mosca, Nadeem, Wynn, O'Neill, Orentlicker, Roth, Torres Fawcett, Watts, Urick, Anderson, sorry about that, Dickman, Edgeworth, Gallant, Gray, Hanson, Moore, Speaker Yeager.
Here, Assemblymember Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May the record reflect we have 37 members present, 5 absent excused.
The record shall self-reflect. We have 37 members present, 5 absent excused. That means we do have a quorum. Would members of the assembly and guests please rise? We have the prayer today by Chaplain George Whalen.
Good evening. Let us pray. In the midst of this sacred chamber, divinity resides. This is your sanctuary. This is where goodness and new life abounds. Dreams become a reality because of you. You are the sacred public ministers, blessing all Nevadans with your passion, hard work, wisdom, vigilance, but above all else, your caring hearts. You listen each day, morning, noon, and night, as the multitudes of folks sit before you and testify and share their heartfelt wishes and concerns. Your attention and graciousness to all of them is divine love in action. Now it's your turn. On this 80th day of our 83rd session, to pause for a moment and allow divine love to listen and take care of you here and now in this sacred chamber. In the silence of your heart, what is it that you wish to ask your compassionate and loving Creator to do for you this night? Let us take 15 seconds of personal reflection now. May you be lifted up and strengthened by the loving embrace of the one who truly loves and watches over you now and forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order business 2, reading and approval of the journal.
Carson City, Monday, April 20.
Assemblymember Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to dispense with reading of the journal and authorize the Speaker and the Chief Clerk to make the necessary corrections or additions.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. Members, we're going to go to order business 15, remarks from the floor. We will start with Assemblymember Dahlia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to briefly recognize a birthday for my neighbor to my left, our colleague from Assembly District 6. As a fellow first-timer, this marks his first birthday here in Carson City as a member of this body. Our colleague comes to us from Las Vegas, where he serves as a community organizer, entrepreneur, and mental health advocate. He is a jazz lover, a food connoisseur, and an emerging fashion icon. He is also, on a more serious note, a cancer survivor who beat incredible odds to be here with us today. He is a force of will with a big heart, and he has been nothing short of a wonderful colleague, neighbor, and friend. Thank you for being who you are. Please join me in wishing him a happy birthday. Thank you.
Still under order of business 15, Assemblymember Monroe Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, we are honored to welcome Nevada State University, including President Pollard, along with students, faculty, and staff as they celebrate Nevada State University Day here at the legislature. I know they anticipated us starting the floor just a little bit earlier. I'm not sure if there's any of them still here with us. If you are, please stand. But we want to make you feel welcomed here in the People's House for Nevada State University Day.
Assemblymember Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know we also have some special guests with us at the legislature. Everyone who is here for AFSCME Lobby Days, please rise so we can acknowledge you all. So, yes, hey everyone, thank you for being here. So AFSCME members provide vital services that make Nevada happen. They organize and they build capacity to strengthen public services and improve working conditions for their members. Many of us know them and welcome them to our house. So we just want to say thank you for being with us here today, and thank you for waiting for us to start floor. Let's give them a round of applause.
Okay, any other order of business 15? Seeing none, I will now appoint a committee of two consisting of Assembly members Considine and Gurr to invite the Senate to meet with the Assembly in a joint session to hear a message from United States Representative Dina Titus. The committee will be about its business.
Mr. Speaker, the members of the Senate are at the bar of the Assembly.
The members of the Senate are invited to chairs in the Assembly chamber. The Secretary of the Senate will call the Senate roll.
Senator Buck. Senator Canizaro. Senator Cruz Crawford. Senator Daley. Senator Dignate. Senator Dondero-Loop. Senator Ellison. Senator Flores. Senator Hansen. Senator Krasner. Senator Lang. Senator Neal. Senator Wynn. Senator Orenshaw. Senator Pizzina. Senator Rogish. Senator Scheibel. Senator Steinbeck. Senator Stone. Senator Taylor. Senator Titus.
The Chief Clerk of the Assembly will call the Assembly roll.
Assembly members Anderson, Backus, Brown May, Carter, Cole, Considine, Dahlia, DeLong, Dickman, De Silva, Edgeworth, Flanagan, Gallant, Gonzalez, Goulding, Gray, Gurr, Hafen, Hanson, Hardy, Hibbets, Hunt, Jackson, Howdigy, Karras, Kasama, Koenig, LaRue Hatch, Marzola, Miller, Monroe Moreno, Moore, Mosca, Nadeem, Wynn, O'Neill, Orentlicker, Roth, Torres Fawcett, Watts, Urick, Dickman, Gallant, Gray, Hanson, Speaker Yeager.
Here, I will now appoint a committee of two consisting of Senator Orenshaw and Assemblymember Mosca to wait upon United States Representative Dina Titus and escort her into the Assembly chamber. The committee will be about its business.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Dina Titus, United States Representative, is at the bar of the Assembly.
The appointed committee will escort Representative Titus to the chief clerk's rostrum. Everyone please rise.
Well, that's awfully nice. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Representative Titus, we welcome you and look forward to your message.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honored elected officials, legislative colleagues, and special guests. It's very nice to be here with you. I'm always a little sentimental when I come in this building. I've spent 20 years here, and it's nice to be back. So thank you for allowing me to come and speak with you today. Never, though, in those 20 years when I was here, did I face the challenges that y'all are facing today. Never. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you what it's like. And you are facing a tsunami that is coming. And I don't envy your task, but I know you're up to it. I know you'll do what's in the best interest of Nevadans. But let's just get ready because it's coming fast. I want to talk to you a little bit about what's happening in Washington. Don't want to be too pessimistic, but I want to be realistic. Because in the time when I was here, and in all the time that I've been in politics, I can tell you that there's never been a president like we have today who so cavalierly and thoughtlessly has cut services the way Donald Trump has in just the short time that he has been there. Services that people here in Nevada depend on very heavily. Never has there been a president who threatened to tank the U.S. economy with tariffs like we have seen recently that are tantamount to taxes on our residents and consumers. And never has there been a president who has threatened to round up thousands of Nevadans and deport them without any kind of due process. And yet that's where we are. And as I said, you in the legislature are on the front lines and are forced to deal with consequences. As your speaker put it, and he put it well, he has said, and I'd like to quote him, "These cuts are being instituted to fund tax cuts for the wealthy. This is not a pandemic out of our control. This is not a worldwide economic event. These are intentional decisions being made at the federal level that are hurting Nevada. That's why I'm not sleeping well at night." Well, neither am I, and I doubt if you are either. So let's just take a minute to look at the damage that has been done just to Nevada, not to the whole country, but just to Nevada, who depends, as you all know, because you're living it every day, on federal funding for 27.7% of the state budget. Now, that's not my number. The nonpartisan Nevada research organization called the Gwynn Center for Policy Priorities, y'all know it, found that from 2023 to 2025, federal funding accounted for $14.8 billion of the $53.4 billion in state spending. That's a big chunk of what we have to offer and to deal with. Now, if you go back and look at what's happened in these last 3 months or so, you'll know that the federal budget that was put forth by the Republican Congress at the behest of Donald Trump has made tremendous cuts in many, many areas. So let's just start with the big one in the room, which is Medicaid. I know y'all have been holding hearings on it and know how drastic this could be. And this is probably the cruelest cut of all. More than a fifth of our population, 812,000 people, rely on Medicaid for their health coverage here in Nevada. 3 in 8 children are covered by Medicaid in Nevada. 4 of 7 seniors in nursing homes rely on Medicaid in Nevada to pay for those monthly nursing home costs. Overall, the federal government covers 60% of the $1 billion of cost to Nevada of Medicaid alone. Over $3 billion per year that the state might have to spend to continue that kind of cost. Now, last year, your treasurer, Conan, who saw more investment returns than all the other treasurers combined in the history of Nevada, was talking to me about the rainy day fund. And he tells me that even with the $1.24 billion that you have saved, which is a record, you still could only cover that Medicaid loss for about a year. That's the kind of thing that we're looking at. Now, in addition to that, Medicaid's not the only health care program that's under attack. Obamacare is also back in the picture. Now, it covers 24 million people, and federal support totaled $125 billion last year. It's subsidies for 19 million people. That's nationally. But if the subsidies aren't extended this year, the people who are in the program will see their premiums skyrocket. That's in Nevada. In fact, in District 1, premiums could increase by as much as 179%. Now, that means if they don't have help paying for insurance, they're not going to have insurance. That puts them back in the emergency room, and that puts the cost of premiums for people who do have it skyrocketing. So in short, we will be facing a health insurance crisis like we've never seen before. Now, the loss of these funds is not the only crisis that we're facing. That's the health care crisis. But there are other cuts to the Department of Health and Human Services that DOJ has recommended. The state receives from the federal government $46 million. Of the $64 million it spends on supplemental program for women and children that has always been popular and helpful in Nevada, the WIC program. That provides healthy food and breastfeeding support for little babies. Gone. Federal government provides $111 million for supplemental nutrition and assistance program, and TANF, which supplies support for Nevadans to be able to afford groceries and child care. Could be gone. Now, these are numbers. You all know them. You sit on the money committees. Maggie's here. She used to deal with all of this. But they're not just statistics. They're hungry children. They are hungry children in Nevada, not some national statistic that doesn't affect us. Now, in addition to the medical and health services, you can also figure that our children are going to suffer from the dismantlement of the Department of Education. Nearly $150 million in federal Title I funds flow through the Department of Education to the state to support schools with high percentages of low-income students and help to bridge that achievement gap. In addition, $87 million for individuals with disabilities come to the state from the federal level. $187 million, that's something that'll be gone. You'll have to make up for it. In addition to the Department of Education, let's look at some of the other kind of miscellaneous cuts that are in these budgets. Federal cuts for grants for foster care, heating and cooling assistance for low-income Nevadans, funding for substance abuse prevention and treatment. They're even waging a war on arts and culture and eliminating the National Endowment for the Humanities. So if you want to save the story of Nevada, if you want to continue the Elko Cowboy Poetry Festival, don't count on the National Endowment for giving state grants because that's over. So you're going to have to look at picking that up. Now, in addition to that, they've frozen some specifics. Grant to UNLV to study PTSD on veterans. Grant to NDOT to construct EV charging stations. Nevada Clean Energy Fund to facilitate solar panel installation. And you know we were out front on solar energy in this state. In addition, they've cut mental health for youth in rural Nevada. Those programs have been cut. They have fired a lot of federal employees throughout the country, including park employees here in Nevada, national park employees, and General Services Administration employees here in Nevada, and closed IRS officials' offices here in Nevada. They have even cut hearing aids for children and cancer research. So if you think I'm talking about political things, I don't think anybody in this room thinks hearing aids for children or cancer research is partisan. Now that's on the cutting side. Let's talk about the revenue side. The picture isn't too much better there. I have concerns because, as y'all have to deal with every day, Nevada requires a balanced budget. And so you're going to have to deal with what's coming May the 1st, and that when you get the economic forecast May the 1st, and you'll be hearing how much funds will be there and what's going to be cut and how much you can spend. Well, I'm not too optimistic here either. The tariffs that have been imposed by the president, here today, gone tomorrow, 40%, 10%, 20%, 140% on China, who knows? But it's a trade war, and it's tariffs. Now in Nevada, we rely heavily on sales and gaming tax. And so what did tariffs do? They increase the cost of consumer goods, whether it's groceries or clothing or telephones or housing, utilities, all of that will go up. Now, if you don't have disposable income, you're not going to go on vacation. You're not going to go on holiday. If you do go, you won't stay very long and you won't spend nearly as much. So that's going to impact that gaming and sales tax and the tourism industry here in Nevada. I can tell you that's especially acute for international travel. I sit on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and I hear every day from people from around the world about the hateful rhetoric that is coming out of Washington directed towards our longtime allies, whether it's Canada or Mexico or the European Union. These are our friends, and we have insulted them. Now they don't like us, they don't trust us, and they don't want to come here for a vacation. Again, these aren't my ideas. These are in the numbers. We are seeing airplane flights going down, gaming revenues going down, room occupancy going down, airport travel going down. In fact, nationally, the National Travel and Tourism Office looked at visits to the United States just in March, fell almost 10%. And we are feeling it here in Nevada, so that does not bode well for the other side of the equation. Now, speaking of tariffs, it's not just the price of consumer goods, it's the price of housing. Now, y'all talk every day about the need for more affordable housing. Well, if you're going to put tariffs on construction materials like steel and lumber and aluminum, and you're going to try to build affordable housing, those prices are going to go up. So again, that's going to hurt Nevadans and make it harder, not easier, at a time when we need more housing for people to get into a house. So what is it that we can do? What is it that y'all are doing? What are we doing? People want us to do more. Sometimes you can only do so much with the structural limitations that you have. We know that the tariffs are coming. They're going to restrict the revenue. We know that the cuts are coming. They're going to restrict the assistance. And we know that the demands will be even higher. So what can we do? I've co-sponsored legislation to eliminate these tariffs without congressional approval, provide employment protections for our career federal employees who are on the front lines providing service, often putting themselves in harm's way to help the people of this state and this country, protect them, whether it's collective bargaining or just keeping their job, protecting taxpayers from having their personal information accessed by the Doge gang that goes around invading federal buildings and looking at your personal records. Legislation to prevent the cuts to the VA, reining in the DOJ activities to ensure congressional oversight, because right now, it seems whatever we do just kind of gets ignored. In addition to legislation, there are a lot of letters going around calling on the administration to do certain things, put back in place critical education programs, ensure adequate labor standards, condemn the dismissal of those public employees I was talking about, requesting information on the Elon Musk activities and databases and clearance, security clearances. All of that we send, but it pretty much goes ignored. There are amicus briefs in the courts, a lot of court cases. You win one day, you lose one the next. You have one handed down by the Supreme Court, which gets ignored, but you keep trying. But that takes money and that takes time, and it continues to go on. I've had 5 town halls in my district. I'm sure some of you all have gone back and had town halls to talk to constituents and hear what they are saying. They're going on all around the country as people face the notion of losing Medicaid or losing Social Security or losing their job. People have said, well, you know, I voted for more efficiency. I thought we could do better, but I didn't know that meant my job. I thought that meant your job. There's a little buyer's remorse, and you see that in the turnout. I don't know if that's making any difference, but at least it's making some noise. In addition, there have been rallies in Washington with some of the different agencies in front of the Capitol, in front of the White House, again, just making noise. That's what we're trying to do, but again, y'all will face the hardest burden right here, and I think everybody kind of agrees it's likely you'll be back in special session when you figure out just how much it is you're going to have to cut or pay for or eliminate or whatever, because you got to deal with this firestorm somehow. You're faced with the tough choices. I know it, I respect it, I appreciate it, and I believe you'll make decisions in this body like you always have that are based on some of the common values that we hold as Nevadans. You know, those values say that no Nevada child should go hungry. No Nevada child should go hungry or receive less than a quality education. All our children are entitled to achieve their potential with a quality education. And we should shield our elderly from federal cuts that they earned. It's not some kind of entitlement. It's something that they worked for, paid into, and earned, so we need to shield the elderly. Every family should have access to quality health care. Health care is a right, not a privilege. Every veteran should be cared for when he returned home. We always take pride in the fact that we leave no soldier on the field. And when they get back, we should leave no veteran behind. And finally, we need to protect the environment for future generations. I think we all agree on that. It's kind of a contract for America. Well, I want you to know that I'm your partner in this. I'll continue to speak out against these cuts that harm our state and on every front. They'll be deciding in the next couple of months exactly where these cuts are going to be, but they've already agreed to a figure that'll be $1.5 trillion. I'm going to try to remind them as they look for the places to cut this $1.5 trillion that some of these cuts will impact every Nevadan, regardless of party ID or where they live, north, south, rural, urban, every Nevadan. So we have our work cut out for us, and you all know it as well as I do. Now, as we're partners and we move forward, we're not going to agree on everything. I realize that. Like daylight savings. I don't know why y'all want to get rid of daylight savings when we're so tied to California, but okay, that's you're deciding on that. Also, you know, you're supporting a lands bill. I think that's the silver bullet for affordable housing. That bill doesn't do anything about affordable housing, and it certainly doesn't require anybody to help pay for the infrastructure that's going to be needed for that growth, but y'all are going through it. So anyway, we'll have a few differences, but the basic values are the same, and we'll agree that all Nevadans will be need to be taken care of, and that should be our priority. and I pledge to work with you on all those things. I appreciate you letting me come and see you. Like I said, I always like to be here. I hope some of you will come and see me in Washington. It's always good to have visitors from home. But let me caution you, don't be measuring for new drapes quite yet, because I'm not going anywhere. Thank you very much.
Assemblymember Backus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the Senate and Assembly in joint session extend a vote of thanks to the Representative Titus for her timely, able, and constructive message.
Senator Pizzina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second the motion.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. The appointed committee will escort Representative Titus to the bar of the Assembly. Senator Wynne.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the joint session of the Senate and the Assembly be dissolved.
Assemblymember DeLong.
I second the motion.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. I declare the joint session dissolved. The Assembly will come back to order. Assemblymember Howdigi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before we adjourn, I do want to remind the body that tomorrow is Alumni Day, and we will be meeting earlier than normal for floor. So seeing no other business before us, Mr. Speaker, I move that the Assembly stand adjourned until Thursday, April 24th, 2025 at the hour of 11 a.m.
Assemblymember Howdigi has moved that the Assembly stand adjourned until Thursday, April 24th, 2025 at the hour of 11 a.m. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.